frankly, there's no better thing than talking about sustainability in a Friday morning in Cannes. So I have 1 hour and a half to cover this topic, and I know that in Sogeti, you like paradox and sometimes ambivalence. Jeroen, don't look at me like that. So just, I would say that we are living in a very important moment with some contradictions, because in one hand, the very, very massive public investment everywhere in the world. You all know about IRA in the US, and I like to remind this figure because it means a lot, at least for my generations and Pierre's generation. It's 3.5 times the Marshall Plan in terms of investment. So when people are doubting about the impact on IRA, let's imagine that it is 3.5 times the Marshall Plan. And there's another pattern is that as we speak, so it's $400 billion as we speak, the US have already spent, so 1 year after the vote of this bill, have spent $125 billion in projects supporting the energy transition and the climate transition. But so this is the US. Europe, as you know, has launched and very early planned the so-called Green Deal. We are in a moment, you know, we have elections ahead, so there will be a next phases where probably we'll see more money, more targeted simplification in the processes. But Europe is on track. While I must say, from Capgemini and seen from the ground and the client, we clearly see that some programs are shifting from Europe to the US. Honestly, I don't have the figures about China, but I will come back on China in a few minutes. And I have to mention Japan. Japan is a clear, by the way, destination and ambition for this Capgemini Group. In Japan, it's above $120 billion, and it's extremely targeted in utilities, in transportation, namely. So very sector centric. These investments, so of course, have an impact, as I said. Just sticking on the left part of this slide to say that the corporations are moving, and big time. And just we are making a study every year with the CDP, and half in Europe, what we have released a few weeks ago, is in Europe, half of companies had absolute emissions reduction target approved by the SBTi in 2022 versus only 14% in 19. So show progression, and we can say that's a fact that most of the companies are reducing their scope 1 and 2 emissions by, let's say, 14% in Europe. So this is really the sunny side and the dynamic. There's a big but. First, from the so we are in Capgemini. You know, we like to listen the conversations on social media. We have partners to do that. What we see is basically 3 trends. The first one is what we call disconnected optimism. So this is perceived from most companies and institutions, which highly communicate about their environmental progress, whereas in reality, this progress is often still minor. I don't say there's no progress, but it's minor. And I mention this point because I think this element can lead to a form of violence. You know, we are in France. This is the beginning of we are in the middle of the Rugby World Cup, and you probably saw this Greenpeace campaign against Total Energy, pointing the contradiction of the group Total Energy. So I think behind that is the question of the greenwashing, and we'll see in the next months this what I call disconnected optimism, which is a very English understatement. The second element is that citizens are often confronted to contradictory information or misinformation, so that is provoking mistrust and a feeling of powerlessness. This is what we hear. And the third pattern, is probably the most important, is what we call delegation of authority, meaning that making everyone consider that climate action is the responsibility of others rather than oneself. But there are other, I would say, elements that are creating doubts. The fact that some public authorities are stepping back. Even the EU, the European Union, lowering its expectation, and sometimes it's the regulatory expectations. We saw that, regarding the positioning vis-à-vis CSRD or vis-à-vis the anti-pollution norms. Some countries are pushing away some key deadlines. So we saw that in France with the housing business, and in the UK as well, where the ban for petrol and diesel cars has been pushed back. So, and we still continue, and this is in the news. Don't remind that. Every month now that new permits are allowed for big oil field, namely the last one was in the North Sea. So I know that there are some old social democrats in this room. Christophe Bonnard is a former advisor of Christine Lagarde. That's a kind message. We are in times of scarcity. Scarcity, the answer to scarcity is planning. And I will say it in French, c'est le retour de la planification. And I would say, because it's probably a good news for us as a partner of those transformations, but there's no alternative. That's the answer to greenwashing. So you will see more and more plan, and it's time really to see those plans surging. Because the challenge we face as a company, that the challenges that our clients are facing are so important that you need to give a perspective to your employees, to your board, to your stakeholders. And the second element is that in time of scarcity, we need to adapt the governance. And that's a very important point. Internally, we see, and that's again, that's a good news, we move to transformation. I mean, we had a debate on this sustainability topic on calculation, but it starts to be behind us, namely because the solutions are not mature. But the key topic, and I think from the clients we see everywhere in the world, they start to understand that the focus needs to be on transformation. And behind that, I'm very impressed by some boards discussion on two topics. They are really engaging reflections that we have never seen before. They are asking, the CXO to challenge our current position, and some of them are really tackling the question of what are the most extreme political forms that we could see emerge in the coming decades. I saw those papers for at least two CAC 40 companies with scenarios, eco-blinding the democracies versus a green totalitarianism. To succeed in the next net zero world, do we need to impose and to change the form of the country governance? So those questions are landing in the companies at the top of the board level. What I mean by governance externally, I think everyone knows now that you can't solve alone the challenges, namely on the so-called scope 3, so you need to find alliances and to play with ecosystem. And here I see two forms. The first one, really, that we not only see, but we are contributing to it. What I would call, the territorial climate hubs, or the cluster, the regional cluster. And we see, though, the emergence of local consortiums that are being built at the magnitude of a city, a port, bringing together private players of all backgrounds, being industrialists, public authorities, startup, around a common goal in terms of reducing the emissions. So I take the concrete example of Dunkirk. For the French in the room, Dunkirk was a very, very difficult and ugly place like 25 years ago, with the steel business going down, with the end of Normed, so the shipping construction. And now, but it remained a strong industrial place where today, with Total Energy, with ArcelorMittal, it's in France, the most emittive regions. It represents 22% of the greenhouse gas emissions in France. Rotterdam is reaching the same performance. So saying that, you see that we can have an impact. Because if the players are sitting together, finding solutions, investing in solutions, then it will happen. And it starts to happen. Basically, it's happening in Dunkirk. It will happen in Fos-sur-Mer, same story, same background, same context of pollution. But have in mind that in a country like France, solving 20%, moving from 20 to 10% is a major achievement, and it will happen. There is a common interest on that. I was in Norway Monday and Tuesday, and they call it our Norwegian friends. I don't know if there are some Norwegian in the room. Yes, hello. So it's Agder, the southern part of Norway, where Michael Borrell was spending his holidays when he was a young boy, and it's a very touristic place. But here you have a local ecosystem, very regional, around the gigafactory, the emergence of battery gigafactories. Okay, so the local investment, big investment, academies to reskill people, providers from rare minerals of Norway and Sweden, and you see progressively the setup of this ecosystem. We discussed yesterday with some of our clients from Occitania. You see that more and more the head of regions are conscious that they can handle, that they can have impact at their level, and we are contributing to it. The second element in this governance is the ability to create new alliances, and if I may say, walk against the wall to talk with your competitor. And so we saw something very important. So CMA CGM is a client, is one of the three worldwide leaders in the shipping sector, and they have forged an alliance with Maersk, which is I think the number 2, to develop new or greener fuels together, and together to be able to force and to create new standards for this business. Another very concrete illustration in terms of governance, it's on the program is called Eco Beauty Consortium. Sorry, Eco Beauty Score Consortium. So the initiative was taken by L'Oréal, and it's representing 70 plus, not only cosmetics leaders, but they are all part of these alliances, from L'Oréal to Shiseido. But it's including experts, scientists, academics, and NGO to develop what we call an environmental impact assessment and a scoring system for cosmetic products. So, for years, ecosystem was resonating like a buzzword, but now it's happening, and we have to manage it. And I will say a word about Capgemini in this field as well. But we need to talk about technology, so because technology, the solution as well. And I would say just in the very short term, let's talk about digital technologies. So They are very, very, very relevant, and that's what we are basically currently delivering in optimizing existing companies' operation, and namely on two dimensions. First, understand the impact of the company. So sensors, data analytics, AI helps to understand what's happening in the value chain in terms of CO2 emissions. But it helps as well to trace the origins of materials and products at any time. The second aspect is really the virtualization. So under the banner of intelligent industry, we were promising that it will happen one day, and it's happening. The digital twin is becoming a fantastic asset in the current operations to improve performance of processes and reduce emissions. And I will come back on an example in a few minutes. And there's a big challenge and a big opportunity, of the climate technology. We mentioned here three of them, but in fact, as we speak within Capgemini, and that's a question we had to answer to a question raised by Eman Ezat a few months ago, because he saw so many things popping up in this group on the agriculture field in the Netherlands, carbon capture in the US, hydrogen. We are working on the performance of electrolyzers. So we said, okay. We have scanned the market, and we say, obviously, there are three big priorities that we need to tackle. So clearly, the batteries and the emergence of those gigafactories everywhere in the world. So they bring solutions. Hydrogen for decarbonized industry and heavy mobility is a must. And the carbon capture, and I don't mention here, of course, the renewables. We did a study for Breakthrough Energy, and I really encourage you to read it 3 years ago, analyzing the impact of those climate tech in Europe for 2050. And we see that they are massively contributing. We did that with academics. They are massively contributing to a net zero Europe in 2050. But there are debates. And as leaders, we need to be conscious that there will be up and down, but this is a massive trend. This is at the heart of IRA and the Green Deal in Europe. So I will not spend too much time on the debate. I just want to say something about China. As we speak, none of those technologies can be scaled up without China. It's very true in the wind, in the renewables battle, wind, solar, and on the gigafactory as well. So just a few examples, because those figures say a lot, and Michael asked me to be very concrete. So the world's biggest hydrogen project is built in Inner Mongolia, and it's producing 30,000 tons of hydrogen. One project. As you know, China is selling more EVs than the rest of the world combined. All the world combined. China is doing better in terms of selling EVs. And one element which is extremely impressive, it's on the wind power side. The world's largest wind turbine in China. So I just smashed a record, and they were able to produce by single turbine in a day almost 400 megawatts in a day with this turbine. So you have in mind, what a nuclear plant is producing. You see that it's almost 25% of what an average nuclear plant is able to produce. So big question ahead. For the politicians, what we see again on the ground is that our clients are making decisions, and they are continuing to work with China and developing their relationship with China. Now, ecosystem technology and behavior. I like to say in very rapidly a word about the mental system that we have built over the last 70 years, forcing it's about customer satisfaction. And all together, in technology, the consultants, in advertisement, we have imposed a norm which is, I'm satisfied if product services are delivered fast and sometimes even in real time. But the problem is that this is truly burning the planet. So, and sometimes, and I know we have some friends from Amazon in the room, but I remember that the first, who remember the first name of Amazon? The first brand. It was Bracadabra. Bracadabra means it's happening like that. It's fast. It's not just to point Amazon, but just to say we like this idea of speed, of instantaneity. And so that's we had we talked about it with a group of people within Capgemini Invent, and we brought in a philosopher to say what can we invent to bring an alternative to speed. How can we reappropriate time? How can we make sure that, yes, for the friends from SNCF, to attract people who are taking TGV and moving back to the Corail, what can we say to the clients on that front? And I think this is the cultural battle that we should not skip and just mobilize on technology. Now. It's promotion time because for Capgemini, two things. First, we are, I see the pressure of Michael moving on stage, but I have to say that we try to behave and to be, I would say, a good model, cleaning our operations, our IT. We try to invest, and here I like to say that it will not happen, just happen by chance. It's a massive investment. We have set it up a command center, an energy command center in Bangalore with our partner Schneider Electric. This has a cost. So the sustainability is an investment. And sometimes, and most of us are in the budget time, you see that we have to make arbitrages. So Capgemini has made those arbitrages to master and to really control the energy consumption, water consumption as well, and massive investment in renewables because at the end of 2024, our operations in India will be totally autonomous and will even send the grid back electricity back to the grid. On the client side, we are doing basically two things, and it's behind me. That's transforming the existing operations, the way we are operating for ourselves, strategy, operations, supply chain, and IT. And we help them to integrate those climate tech because it's not just experimentations. We start to see on the renewables and hydrogen significant program to retrofit products or to create new services with those or new models with those climate tech. So it's important to say that the move we made with the acquisition of Altran, you need today, in this sustainability battle, you need to be in the thinking and in the making. The intelligence of product, and you know that by heart in Sogeti, but this is not the case, it was not the case for the rest of the group, is so important in this new era. Two concrete illustration on that. No, that's not that one, so I don't have the illustration here, but just to say for a global industrialist, we work on the performance of furnaces. Ceramic furnace, high consumption. The one we are working on represents the consumption of energy in Cannes in the summer. And so with the client teams, we are able to reduce this consumption, simulating, creating a digital twin, simulating the thermofusion cycle by 15 to 20%. So you see it has an impact. and that's a massive progress. And for leader in automotive batteries, we are at the heart of the scaling up of those gigafactories everywhere in the world, and working for almost all the players. So this is us, supported by a strong ambition from our CEO. Really, is personally involved not only in the client conversation, but in the investment to make Capgemini a leader in sustainability services. Just in terms of an anecdote, so we are counting, our booking in sustainability. We are calculating our impact in terms of emissions with our client. Frankly, our ambition is in 3 years from now to stop the calculation and consider that all what we do has a positive impact on the planet. So my conclusion will be very short, Michael. I just like to remind that there is a north-south debate. We are focused on our operations, on our clients, but we see popping up a north-south debate, and probably it will emerge in the COP on you guys from the north. You need to move to a carbon negative economy in order for us to develop our countries and our economies. Of course, you will see, and I say a word, the fact that questions around is democracy the most adapted tool, if I may say, to support it. So we need to be used with those debates, even in our society. So clearly, importantly, I like to say, engage a cultural shift. It's major. I mean, we have solutions, but we need to address the cultural part. And clearly, yes, in our companies, it's a matter of the leadership model will evolve. Address, as I said, the ecosystem, acting fast, acting with partners, with ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you.